Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My sincere greeting to all honorable judges, all of the viewers, especially my students who like to listen to the story. This time, I, Fani, would like to tell you a very inspiring story of a young, noble, handsome man. No, it would be talking about a BTS group member most teens admire of, or about a Japanese famous actor of whom the picture you put on the room wall. This is the story of Mus'Ab bin Umair, the boy who gave everything for Allah. Do you ever know about his story? Let me tell you the story, which was written beautifully in the history. Mus'Ab was born in a wealthy family. He grew up in a luxury. His rich parents showered him with much care and attention. He was considered as the most fragrant man in Makkah because his expensive perfume traced fragrance along the way he walked on. As a youth, he was admired not only because of his good looks and styles, but also because of his intelligence. He was able to gather a meeting of Quraysh, and then because of his position, he was able to know about the strategies of Meccan people and also about attitudes of Meccan people. As Muhammad came and his teachings began to spread among the Meccan people, Mus'Ab was curious. Moreover, he learned that Muhammad and the people who believed in his messages used to gather in a house near As-Safa, and this was Al-Arqam's house. To satisfy his curiosity, Mus'Ab proceeded to Al-Arqam's house, and then he met the Prophet Muhammad, who was teaching his bands of companions, reciting the verses of Quran and performing salat in submission to God, the one and only, and the great and the highest one. Mus'Ab was so touched by the tender words and the warmth of the Prophet Muhammad. He was so overwhelmed by what he had seen and heard. Soon he decided to convert to Islam. But then he decided also to keep everything in secret because he knew if he let anyone to know about his new belief, they wouldn't let him go. But that was difficult during those times to keep everything in secret. The eyes and the ears of Quraysh were on every road. Mus'Ab was quietly seen entering Al-Arqam's house by someone called Uthman ibn Talha. At another time, he was also caught performing salat just like the manner of Nabi Muhammad. Finally, the devastating news of the acceptance of Islam of Mus'Ab spread along the Quraysh and eventually reached his mother's ears. His mother had been the biggest fear of Mus'Ab because he knew his mother was a woman with extraordinary power. Mus'Ab's mother, Tunas binti Malik, was a woman with dominant personality and was able to arouse fear and terror. And when Mus'Ab became a Muslim, the only power that Mus'Ab might have feared was his mother. Mus'Ab thought quickly and he decided to conceal soon that he was a Muslim. But he thought that he would let everything to Allah to give him solution. He continued visit frequently the house of Al-Arqam and sat in the company of the Prophet. And one day, his mother came to him and asked him whether the news was correct or not. His clan and also the Quraysh were so surprised to know that the news was correct, and bravely Mus'Ab acknowledged that he became a Muslim, and also he told them the reasons for doing so. His mother was so furious to know that his beloved son had become a Muslim. Even though she was so furious, she wouldn't beat him, but she had taken Mus'Ab afar of the corner of the house, and then Mus'Ab became the prisoner in his own house. He was tied and he was also tethered by him. And then many watchful guards saw him and tried to avoid him to meet Nabi Muhammad and his companions. His mother asked some guards to watch him, and then they beat him, and Mus'Ab was asked to stand under the very hot sun. And Mus'Ab didn't have any opportunity to escape, but at the first opportunity, he was able to escape from his house. Then he joined the refugees and go with the Prophet Muhammad and his companions to sail together across the Red Sea to Africa. When Mus'Ab returned to Makkah again, his mother made a last attempt. So he tried to ask Mus'Ab to convert to his previous belief. But Mus'Ab stood still, and he still kept his faith. He said, "Mother, even though your soul was out one by one, I will still confess that Allah is my only God," he said. His mother was so shocked and furious. He asked Mus'Ab to go out to her house, and then Mus'Ab would leave everything that he had before. He couldn't have any treasure from his mother again. And then Mus'Ab tried once again to approach his mother and said, "Mother, I advise to you sincerely, please do testify that Allah is the only God and Muhammad is his servant and his messenger." But his mother was so arrogant and said, "No, until I would be die, I wouldn't say that your religion is the good one. I swear by the shooting star that I wouldn't follow your religion. Go to your own business. I am not prepared to be your mother again," said the mother of Mus'Ab. Mus'Ab left all the luxury he had and he used to enjoy. Everybody who saw him would bow his head to see the wealthy and elegant Mus'Ab now become so old and then look so poor because of his old attire. Sometimes he couldn't eat anything, but he could eat on another day. To see that and to feel that, Mus'Ab was not afraid at all. He was sure that it was the best, that the life in this world was nothing compared to the eternal love. And then one day, the Prophet Muhammad asked him to be the ambassador to go to Yathrib. He went to Yathrib to teach some small bands of people and then to tell them to be on the path of Islam. Mus'Ab was so proud to be the ambassador of Prophet Muhammad. He was sure that it was a sacred mission, and he did well the mission. Mus'Ab passed away in Uhud Holy War. When the Prophet Muhammad and his companions saw Mus'Ab's dead body, they all felt sad and fell into a deep fever, because the Mus'Ab's dead body was only covered by the little piece of sheet. When the people tried to cover his upper body so the feet would be exposed, but when the feet would be covered by the sheet, then the body would be exposed. The Prophet Muhammad then commanded his companion to cover the upper body of Mus'Ab by the sheet, and the feet would be covered by the kind of grass. So everyone, that's the story of Mus'Ab bin Umair, the man with luxury but then turned into a man with nothing because of Allah. So those are the moral values of the story. First, don't be afraid of losing anything in life because nothing compares to the eternal life. And the second, the biggest strength is actually from the love to Allah and His Messenger, and nothing compares to both of them. Thank you very much for listening to my story, and hopefully it will inspire you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.